Yeah, usually like, yeah, I know he has stuff going on too. It's all right. So I'm recording this. Um, all right, so we're good to go. I'm gonna get started. If anybody else joins, I will just kind of stop to let them in. But basically, I wanted to go over how to use the direct marketing piece of Command, which is essentially what you can use for circle prospecting. I might go a little bit into some of the Facebook advertising as well, but I wanted to focus more so on direct mail because I think a lot more agents have been asking me about that, and I wanted to be able to show it how it works in Command. So to get started, usually what I'll go over first is just the very basic um, marketing profile. And I like to just make sure I have that set up. My headshot, contact information, my bio, and all that good stuff. So, market center. These are all things that are going to help me with my marketing as I move forward. And I like to just say, make sure that's the first thing you completed in Command before you even jump into anything. So, with that said, I'm going to just go back to my home screen here and I'm going to pull up the sidebar if I click on that red button. And I'm going to be working primarily in campaigns, so I'm not going to be jumping out too far from here. Mostly in campaigns today. I will, however, I do want to kind of dabble with designs just for a minute because there are the ability to create custom templates now, which is awesome. And I'm going to go over that as we kind of move forward through campaigns. So to get started, I'm just going to click campaigns. And from here, if I go to direct mail, this is going to be the dashboard for my direct mail. You'll notice that I have quite a few drafts in here. I've done a lot of classes on this. So basically what I want to do, if I want to go ahead and create a new direct mailing piece, I can go to create a new campaign. And you'll notice here that I have these options available, social ad, direct mail, email, Google search ads. I'm going to click on direct mail. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and just add in a campaign name. I'll just say just sold. Let's just say it's a just sold card. I'll put test 83. Then we need to select a goal. Now, I don't believe these are going to actually affect anything just yet, but you are required to choose one. And as they gather enough data on the agent's kind of behaviors, selecting either one of these will probably have an effect on things like the copy, what type of postcards you're creating, what type of audience it wants it to go out to. So by selecting one of these, it's just going to make the AI a bit smarter, and you'll notice later down the line, it's probably going to suggest things to you. In this case, I'm going to attract listings. I just sold something. Then you have on the bottom here two different options. You have a default template, which is going to be the form we can fill out. I'm going to start with that first. Then you can also upload a custom design, which I actually like a lot because then it gives you a little bit more flexibility on the type of design you can use. So I'm going to go ahead and hit default templates. I'm going to go ahead and hit setup campaign. And from here, you're going to notice I have a few things I can select from right now. And it's very similar to how the Facebook advertising works. So basically on the left-hand side, I'm going to have all the steps that I need to complete. On the right-hand side, I will be able to select the template I want to use. And also I can preview the template as well as I'm building it. So I'm going to go ahead and select the listing. And if I have listings already under myself, they will appear here. I'm going to use an example listing here because I don't have one off the top of my head. And I'm going to select 704 Boulevard East. All right. And we're going to select one of these from the list here. I'll use this one. All right, so we have the listing selected. What it does as well is it auto-populates some of that information. So I think a lot of questions that I get asked from agents is if they can't find their listing in here, can they still do the campaigns? Well, you could, because basically all it's really doing for you is it's kind of like giving you a head start. So it's kind of like auto-filling things for you, but you're not necessarily required to connect it with a listing to move forward. So you could do all this without having the actual listing in here. It can be a coming soon even, but to make things a lot faster, you can connect it. And that's why you see here it auto-populated a lot of that information, which is great. So in any case, I'm going to keep moving down. Let me put in a status, and we'll put in some bed and bathrooms here. This is one thing I noticed doesn't auto-populate right now. I'm not sure why, but it's not a big deal. You'll also notice here it gives me some of the verbiage. Now, in the case that this is already sold, I'm probably not going to use this verbiage specifically. So I'm going to just kind of modify that a little bit. I can just say something like, look what just sold in your area. If you're looking to buy or sell, and I'll put Guttenberg, NJ, contact me at 201. And that is my phone, in case anybody's wondering. Or email at w.com. You could say something like for a complimentary home evaluation or buyer consultation, please don't hesitate to contact me today. There you go, something like that. Obviously, you can kind of play around with the text. I'm just kind of thinking off the top of my head here. But you just got to be mindful of your text limit as well. Now, depending on the size of the card, in this case, it defaults to a 4x6. That gives you about 575 characters, which isn't too bad. However, you do have some additional sizes here as well, 6x9, 6x11. 6x11, I would consider almost like a EDDM sized card. 6x9, they're considering a default. And then the compact here, which is the 4x6, that's just your smaller card. So depending on your budget as well, you know, they all have different types of pricing for those. For the example, we're just going to use this 4x6. And I'm going to go ahead and just save that information we just put in. Now, as I'm doing that, if I go to preview postcard here, you're going to notice right now, nothing on the front yet, but if we go to the back, here you can also see that I have some information filled out there. Looking pretty good so far. And we're going to add a front image there in just a second. So that's why it's blank. Let's go ahead and go to listing photo. Now here you'll notice that I do have the images pulled in from the MLS. However, one thing you will notice is that it doesn't pull in the full resolution image. So in this case, I do need to upload a high-res image. 300 DPI is what I highly suggest. If you're working with a professional photographer, they usually provide you two different types of folders. One will be web-sized, and then the other one will be print. So in this case, I just have to upload the print image. And I'll just use one of my, I'll just use an example one here. I think I got a few. Let's see, let's go up a little bit. Let's use this one. We got our high-res images here. We'll use that, looking good. So as I'm kind of updating this, if I hit save again, this is going to update that preview. And you'll notice when I'm updating the preview, how the card's appearing. So right now we have that nice front exterior. If it's an interior shot that I want to showcase, I can obviously do that as well. I'm just using one of these nice exteriors right now. So let's go ahead and just X out of that. Now we got to input my agent info. So in this case, I would just be essentially typing in my information. Now, if I connected this with a listing and I'm the listing agent, it'll just populate my information there, so I don't have to change it. Agent photo, I can also upload my headshot there if I needed to. Hit save. And the last thing we have to do here is add my market center information. So I could add in the DBA logo for my office. Let's go ahead and just put in a street address there as well. Suite 502, Fort Lee, NJ 07024. Verify, confirm. Cool. All right. Yeah, that looks good. Let's just preview that once more. We'll look at it. Here's the front. Here's the back. Looking great. This here, I'm not sure why it actually puts the main address for the office there, but we're going to keep that just for now. This will be where the logo appears, and my headshot will appear down here. Now, just keep in mind, this is also the template. So basically with these templates, I'm just filling out the form, and then it's going to essentially auto-populate to these templates. Okay, so then we get down to budget. So the budget's going to be basically like, how much am I going to spend, and am I using first class postage? In this case, basically with the smaller card, it's always defaulted to first class, but you could choose two different other ones from the other size cards. And then with the postcard quantity, it defaults to 200, but you can up that to whatever you want. Maybe you're going to do 500, depending on the area that you're looking to prospect in. One other thing that they added recently is this QR code. Sorry. The QR code here is going to be basically it can be kind of like a link back to my consumer app. It can be my website. It could be a virtual tour, perhaps. In this case, I actually do want to add a QR code, and I'm going to just do it to my app. There we go. So that's just going to be an app link. Everybody has something like that in here. If I go to tracking, I can just choose download my app, and that will be a link back to my consumer app. We're going to save this again. Once you're done, we can just kind of once again preview this. There's going to be a QR code right here. Now, you want to make sure that anything that you're doing in here, you're previewing it here first, because once you hit step 2, you're not actually able to go back and edit anything. So in this case, I'm good to go. I think I'm good. Hit start configure targeting. And it's going to connect me to the RealMailers server. That's basically the service that they're using to populate these addresses that I'm going to be sending out to. Now here you'll notice what it's doing. It's actually giving me a prospect within, and I believe it's actually doing the building for me. So it's actually giving me the listings within the building, or addresses within the building, and then a few of them around it. So there's a bunch of them around here. You can see that it's actually kind of doing. Now, let's say I wasn't necessarily trying to prospect here. Maybe I want to prospect in an area that I'm looking to have people relocate from. So in that case, maybe it's going to be somebody who is looking to relocate from maybe, let's just say we're going to do like Fairview. Or let's just do Cliffside Park. We'll do this area here. So what you can also do, you're not tied down to just that address. I can also do this, where I can take a polygon, and I could then select an area here that I want to target. And then it's going to essentially do this. You'll see that it will give you back a set of addresses within that area. Let's just narrow that down to 500 again. There we go. So it limits it to 500 depending on the area that you're looking to cover. If I go to recenter it, that's going to reset it back to that address here, which is the building address, which I believe is the Galaxy. So here, again, we got the 500 addresses selected, and that's going to be basically to that building itself. Now, what I can also do here is there's a set of filters. So you can do it by specific bedrooms. We can do it by square footage, perhaps. We can also do it by year built. We can also do it by year last sold. So we're not worried about the 1800s right now. So let's go ahead and just move that up a little bit. And last sale for price, which I think I'm going to leave alone here. You can also do this is you can actually have a copy of that card sent to you if you want one for your own record. And again, like I said, this is going to be focused on this specific area here. So there's about 500 addresses it's going to choose to send to. I'm going to go ahead and hit next. And here you go. You get like a nice little preview of the card once it loads. Give it a minute. So you see here what I did. Probably within 10 minutes, I created a nice postcard that I'm going to be sending out to that area that I just sold in. So here's the preview of what the card's going to look like after it's being sent. So got the address up here. So I guess that was just a glitch because now you notice that it has the correct address up top. Looks good. You know, it's a nice looking card, nothing too crazy. It's very clean and modern. And we probably would have created that within 10 minutes. So within 10 minutes, we actually created the card and we also chose the area that we're trying to prospect in. Now, if I have to go back, if I want to change anything in regards to the actual search, we can go back here. We can save this. Ooh, oops. Sorry about that. I'm gonna edit this. We go back here, we go back to targeting, and if we needed to change any of the targeting, like the filters or the amount of cards we're looking to send to, we can do that all from here, and then we can just continue to the next step again. And that would be good to go. So this would be the card. Here's the proof, basically the kind of like almost finalized proof. I would just call it the proof. Everything that I would need is already on there. I don't have to worry about any of this stuff because it's being set up for me automatically. And this looks good. So I do want to show one other thing in here that I thought was really awesome is having the ability to actually upload your own custom design. So if you're like me, I like to actually create my own things, and you can do that in Command now actually. So let's just back out of here real quick. I'm going to back all the way out. And I'm going to go to where it says Designs. So we're going to go into Designs. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a nice, quick postcard. I'm going to go ahead and just hit that plus sign here. We'll go to Print. And we're going to also hit Import Photos and Text from a Listing. Hit Next. And we'll use the same listing again. I think I spelled that wrong, but it's all good. So let's just use this one here. This is 7004 Boulevard East. Hit select. Then what it's going to do, it's going to load me into my designs dashboard here. So it's going to give me some options for different types of cards, different formats, different sizes, also different themes. So on the left-hand side, you'll notice KW app, listings, buyer, lead gen, business basics, etc. Let's go to listings. And in this case, we're creating a just sold. Let's go to just sold. Here you go. You'll have a standard postcard templates. Nothing too crazy. Again, they're going to be very modern and clean. You can also go where it says for sale. You can check out those as well. Now, just because it says for sale, or if I found a template that I actually liked better than the ones being provided in different sections, you can actually edit the information here. So we're going to actually just use one of these. I'll use this one here. I think that's pretty nice. So it's going to load into that template here, you'll notice. We have a front and back as well. We're going to edit that in a little bit. And before I do that, actually, I'm going to go back to my campaigns because I'm actually going to use the same text that I used. Actually, we'll just write it up. It's all good. So this is the just sold. That's all good. Let's go to KWLS here on the left-hand side. Actually, before I do that, sorry, just to kind of give you a little overview of the different types of components inside of this design tool. So the left-hand side is going to have a handful of different kind of like subsections. So you have your images, text, icons, logos. So these would be logos I would have uploaded into the system here. And then the last one is KWLS. So KWLS is really cool because it allows you to pull in details from a listing, basically from any MLS, any listing essentially, as long as it's in the MLS. And here you'll notice that because I selected that listing here, it's already pulled in the details like the photos. I can also put in the listing details as well. And let's go ahead and just choose one of these images. I like this one here. I'll use that as the main. We'll just drag it in. So one thing I also like about this system is that when you're using the images, you can drag and drop them over the template, and that's going to replace it on the template. So in this case, I used that nice interior shot, looking really good. There's some additional details on here though that I have to change. So what I want to do is here where it says sold for price, I'm going to change that to the address of the property. And what I'm going to do that, I'm going to use a tool up here called Typewriter. And we'll just put the address here, Kennedy Boulevard East, apartment 10D, and this is in West New York. And we're going to just make that slightly larger. We're going to use this here and move that out a little bit. And then we can kind of space this out slightly as well. There we go. So another quick tip as well. Whenever you want to edit the text, you can click on it once and you can adjust the size like that. You can also adjust the crop. So if you want it to be on one line or two lines. Now, if you double click on it, that's going to allow you to actually edit the text inside of the box. As I mentioned, I do like to use the typewriter as my preferred method to do that. We're going to edit this text as well. I think this was, we'll just make up a price here. Sold for, we'll just use that. That's cool. So then we have the sold for, here's the address, just sold. Put in some of the listing details as well. We'll just keep that the same. Step two, if we go to step two, this is going to be the back page of this. And this is just going to have information about myself. So let's just go ahead and grab some of these logos here. And I'll put in this one right next to it. We'll just use that. Ooh. Let's replace that on the template. We'll remove that. We'll just kind of pop that in there. We'll just pop it to the side. There we go, something like that. All right. So because I have my profile already kind of uploaded in here, I can actually replace the image with my headshot. So I'll use that. Using the typewriter tool again to edit the text here. Then I'm going to edit this information as well. We'll just pop my information in here. So I do prefer this better just because I find it to be a little bit faster. So makes it a little bit easier to manage. All right. And we'll put my website in there as well. Great. Looking good. So then we can also put in my app link here, which off the top of my head, I'm not sure of. So what I'll do, go to my home screen here. I did copy it into my notepad. This will copy that over as well. Let's go to here. We'll click on it once. We'll go to typewriter here and paste that right there. And good to go. I'll just kind of move this out slightly. We'll keep it like that. All right. Now you don't necessarily need to use this either. Like you can always say like, you know, I'm gonna just delete that, because you can also delete it. You can also undo it. Let's go back. There we go. Cool. So all that information looks good. We'll keep that all the same. So let's change this as well. Just sold. Ooh, just sold. There we go. Then I'm going to put in that same text we had from before, which if I recall, and just put something like, look what just sold in Guttenberg. Well, this is West New York in this case, so we'll do West New York. And we'll just put this beautiful unit in Galaxy just recently was listed and sold within the last 7 days, something like that. Are you looking to buy or sell? Contact me today to get your complimentary home valuation or buyer consultation. And I'll put something like my phone number. Contact me today at 201. Or great. So nothing too wild. You know, I'm just doing something, keeping it simple. And you'll notice that on the template here, again, it's gonna auto-populate that. I'm just gonna move this down slightly as well, look a little cleaner. There we go. What I might also do is bold this, just make it a little bit more apparent. So let's go ahead and just highlight all this if I can. There we go. Bold. Boom. There you go. So we're on our way. We're almost done. So basically, the last step that I need to do now is I need to download this. So let's first save this. So we finished our card. We're good to go. We can also edit it and proof it here. That's one of the other benefits with these as well, is that you can essentially proof these as many times as you want because it's your design. So you can come back to this. You can say like, oh, well, maybe I should have put this there. You can come back to it later on and you can always edit it. So that's the benefit of having this as well. I'm going to go ahead and do this. So this is going to be the most important part. Just sold West New York. This is going to be the most important thing to remember. When you're editing or uploading your own design, you need to make sure you have the front and back as separate PDFs. So how do I do that? I'm going to go up to here where it says download. We're going to go to get PDF. We're going to go to high-res print quality. And we're going to do current design. So we're going to download each separately. So this is going to be the current design, which is the front page. Other things I'll also bring up here, publishing settings. We do have a bleed on here already, which is a 0.125, which is essentially what needs to be added. So let's go ahead and download this. It's going to be page 1. Once that downloads, then I need to get page 2. So I'm going to go ahead and just go to page 2. Do the same exact thing. Start download. Okay, so now we have both pages. We're gonna save this again. Go to done. So we have the 2 pages of the postcard templates that we need. If we go back to campaigns now, okay, and we go to create new campaign, I'm just gonna do another direct mail campaign, and I'll do a custom template. We'll do 123 Main Street, something like that. Track listings, it's just sold. What we're gonna do here, upload a custom template. And we're gonna go ahead and hit set up campaign. Now you're gonna notice here, as I mentioned, you do need to have the front and the back. So we're gonna upload the front first. Let's go, actually, let's go back. Looks like we had a little bit of a design issue there, but we're gonna fix that. Let's go back to the template here. And you do need to make sure, let's just make sure the bleed is there. All right, looks like it's frozen. Let's go back into my design here. Quick fix. So if you notice that happens, we're just gonna go ahead and go to download. Let's do the manage bleed. So we have a 0.125 bleed there. So let's go ahead and try to download that once more. Current design, publishing settings, we use manual bleed. And let's see if this one works. If not, I'm gonna try one other thing, because I think I know what's happening here. So let's go ahead and try uploading the front again. There we go, all right. We'll do the same thing for the back. So just remember the settings I did. I had to make sure I had that manual bleed on. I think that's what I might have caused the issue with. No worries. So we're going to download the back. Once we download the back, we're almost good to go. Let's go to the back. We're going to pop that in. There we go, looking good. So what's also really awesome about this is that it automatically kind of calculates what size you're uploading. So it already knows, like, okay, they're uploading a 4x6, and it knows right away like what type of pricing it should give you. So we're gonna go ahead and hit continue. So now you're gonna notice what we have is our front card. We can also preview that if you wanna look at it. Here's the front, here's the back. It looks pretty clean. Now we just add in our market center. Again, we have to add this because it uses it as a return address. So that's why it's adding that. There we go. That, verify, confirm. All right, so we're all set with that. Targeting. So there's 2 types of targeting as well. We can also select database targeting in the case that we have home addresses on file for a specific contact in my database. Now, that's another thing you can also do if you're going to be doing like geo farming or circle prospecting within a specific area. If you've uploaded a database with addresses on file into your command, you can use target my database. I actually haven't tried using this, but I would assume it's almost as if you're using a custom tags. If you hit add contacts, you can do it by tags. You just have to make sure you have that mailing address on file. We're going to keep it the same way though. We'll do local targeting again. And from here, we'll just do let's just do the address we're trying to prospect in, which would be that Boulevard East. Okay, it's in and J, Guttenberg. And off the top of my head, I don't know the zip code. So we're going to go ahead and just Google it real quick. 07093. All right, save. J, save. All right, so again, the budget, here's the budget, 200 cards. If I want to up that a little bit, I can do 500. Same exact pricing as you notice. So they're not charging you anything extra, upload your own design, which is great. So let's go ahead and hit save. And then we'll do configure targeting. We'll hit start. And now, as you can see, the same exact rule applies here. So it's basically set up the same exact way. You know, we can do the filtering and all that stuff. Year built. Last sold. Again, we can filter this down however we need to, depending on the type of person we're trying to reach out to. And this looks like it's also going into a little bit of New York there in this case. Let's kind of change that a little bit. All right. Again, if we didn't want to target that area specifically, we can also use that polygon tool here. And we can just kind of cover, we can do like a specific area here. Like let's say it was like this area as an example. And we're going to reset this slightly. Do last sale price. Okay. Reset filters. All right. So that's how it's going to go. So we have our area selected here. Looks good. And what we want to do now is hit next. And exact same step. It's basically going to generate the preview. We'll take a look at it after it's done. Cool. So here we go. Here's a nice preview of the card. And it looks really good. And again, it's already formatted, so it knows it has to put all the stuff in here. Looking good. And that's all set. So that's basically how you would be able to build out a prospecting campaign in Command. I'm going to have this video posted a little bit later to YouTube. So if anybody had any sort of questions or really want to rewatch that, it's going to be on YouTube. So with that being said, I just want to go and just kind of remind everyone about the YouTube channel here. And it's just YouTube. It's Bergen County Partners. And that would be the channel that you can go into, you know, if you're looking for any of the video clips that we have. Great resource. So we have quite a few videos in here now. So I will have that there posted later. If there's no other questions, that would pretty much complete this session. But you can always be reached out to from my cell or my email. So if anybody has any additional questions, feel free to reach out. And I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their Monday and enjoy the nice weather. Take care.